We're here with Triveni Patel today, who at one time was on the Miss Rosamond Court, I believe, years ago.
Very long time ago.
Yeah, but now has the great honor of going to Georgetown University.
Very excited.
And I'd like to talk to her a little bit about that. So, tell me about that. Tell me about your experience. How did you apply to Georgetown?
Well, for a really long time, I actually wanted to go into medicine, but once I started looking into it, shadowing doctors, volunteering, I realized that wasn't what would be my biggest interest, and I didn't think I would want to do that for a living. So then I started to reevaluate everything that I was interested in, and I have always taken an interest in history, and eventually that developed into an interest for politics. And I know my dad is very politically involved, so I have a lot of conversations with him about it. So growing up, it was always an interest. It was just never really at the forefront of my mind. So in the past couple of years, I started to become more involved, and then I decided to intern with Congressman Steve Knight, and that's when my interest started to increase, and I became much more involved myself. After that, I decided that I wanted to major in political science, and so with that, I eventually decided that Georgetown would be the best decision for me because it is located in Washington D.C, so that offers me endless opportunities for jobs and internships. So I think it'll be a really good opportunity for me to grow, and I'm very excited for that.
Well, it's hard to get into Georgetown University. So many students apply.
It is a very competitive process, and I'm really lucky that I got in. It was very difficult. There was a lot of things that I had to do in order to get there. But
Right.
It was very rewarding.
Did Congressman Knight write a letter for you?
No, he did not. I believe that they're not allowed to write.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure on the specifics, but I didn't need recommendation letters from anybody besides my counselor and a couple of teachers. So, yeah, so those are who recommended me.
Well, still, it's a great honor to be chosen out of all of those that apply.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Georgetown has so many prestigious graduates who have grown up and have children and want to get their children in there, and then all of the competitive people from around the country realize Georgetown offers a great education, and so congratulations that you got that.
Thank you.
Now, undergraduate, I guess you don't specialize right away, is that right?
Well, I applied to Georgetown College, so I'm undecided, and I declare my major at the end of my sophomore year.
I see.
So I still have time for a little change if I do decide to go in a different path. Well,
that'll be good. Now, you've attended local schools up to high school, and then you went to Quartz Hill, correct?
Well, actually, I went to local schools until 5th grade, and then that's when I started going to schools.
I see. Sure. And you say at this point, politics appeals to you, because we sure need great leaders,
Yeah, I know it's a very controversial topic at the time, but I do enjoy learning more about politics and current issues, and I still have a long ways to go in terms of learning about everything, but I find it very interesting, so that is definitely an option for me in the future, but we'll see how it goes.
Sure. Well, Congressman Knight's office, what did you do for him?
Well, I actually interned for his office in the AV, and I have been doing that for a little over a year now, so I am the one who usually answers all the calls, and I do all the certificates for events and anything like that. Anything that anyone in the office needs with filing, even, I'll do any of that. But then I also interned for him in D.C. for a week during my spring break, actually. And so during that time, I took notes on hearings that were happening. So I did that. I filed constituent emails. I answered calls. I wrote a lot of letters and things of that sort.
In other words, dealing with the congressman's public.
Yes, a lot with his constituents.
That pour in all the time.
Yes, there are a lot of responses, so it's usually the intern's job to make sure that everyone's concerns are attended to and all of that.
And how did you find D.C.?
I loved it there. I think it was honestly the highlight of my senior year. I thought it was a lot of fun. I learned a lot, and I thought it was really cool that, you know, for me, I mean, I've always learned about government and all these like the Capitol building, but it was really cool for me to be able to go in the tunnels underneath and explore all of the building. I mean, it was a little confusing at first, but it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed meeting all the other interns and everyone who works in the office. They're all great people.
Well, it has a great reputation for attracting young people because there's so many people there helping out, the senators and congressmen and all that. It's a vibrant city.
Yeah, it is. I love it there. I've loved it there since I visited actually in 8th grade. It's been one of my favorite cities. Just everything about it. I'm very excited to be living there.
Sure, sure. And when actually will you start?
Well, I move in towards the end of August, so my classes start August 29th.
I see. August 29th, okay. And do you plan to live on campus or off campus, or
I plan to
how
live
does
on
that work?
Campus. Well, Georgetown requires you to live on the campus for 3 years. But, they also offer apartments and townhouses through their housing. So as I progress further into college, I will have that opportunity to live in an apartment or a townhouse. I don't have to live in a dorm for all 3 years.
Sure, not for always. Okay. And will you continue to work for the congressman, or are you going to be too busy with school?
Well, I plan to adjust for first semester and see how everything is, because it's going to be a big change moving to DC and meeting new people and my coursework and everything like that. So I do plan on interning for him second semester, but I'm also thinking about interning for Congressman McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure which way I'm going to go yet, but that's definitely something that
I think he would be very receptive to that.
Yes, I actually met him recently, and his son was actually a student at Georgetown University. So it was nice to talk to him about that, and I see how that goes.
Good. Well, you have to influence legislation for the motel and hotel industry in Rosamond, and maybe even the used car business.
Yes,
is in Rosamond. Well, that'll be great. And do you have any particular part of politics that you're interested in? I mean, like human rights or the senior citizens, or
well, at the moment, I'm still learning more, and I don't think that I have enough information to really or not necessarily prefer, but have a particular interest in one. So I think right now it's just more of taking in all the information that I'm getting from my internship and just all my surroundings. So
sure. Well, get to know everyone you possibly can, because in my experience interviewing politicians and public figures, the ones that get the most done are the ones that are friends with everyone, and they ask their friends and they get it done.
Networking is definitely a very big part of
for sure. Yeah, it's not a type of a job for a shrinking violet or something like that. You really, like Lyndon Johnson, the president, that guy knew everybody. And he started out selling women's stockings. That, I mean, that's how he started.
Yeah, so
and ended up president of the United States. So, yeah, well, that'll be good. And do you get to come home for major holidays and things like that?
Yeah, so I'll be able to come home for Christmas. I only have a couple of days off for Thanksgiving, so that might be a little difficult, but I have Christmas and spring break to come home, so I will be home for a little bit.
Well, that'll be terrific. Well, America is a country of people from other places. I know my parents from Ireland. I've never been back there, but I think your parents have come here and been extremely successful.
Yes, I would agree. They actually moved here when they were about 14, so middle school, high school, and they didn't know English, so it was a big learning curve for them.
Yeah.
So they had to adapt to the new environment and everything around them, and I think it's amazing how far that they've come like considering that they came to this country not knowing any English, and it's been like really like inspiring, I think, for like me and for my brother, that like hard work really will get you places. Like it's really important to keep on going.
Sure. And where exactly have they come from?
They came from Gujarat.
Okay, now that's India.
Yes.
Okay.
India.
Okay, and you haven't been back there?
No, but I definitely would like to sometime in the near future. I think it's really important to go visit, so I really would like to soon.
Well, gee, that's you have a very interesting and exciting story, I think. Especially, I don't know if anybody from Rosamond ever has gone to Georgetown. Do you know?
Yeah, I did. Your daughter went to Georgetown.
Oh, but yeah, but besides my daughter, yes.
Well, I don't know about anybody else, but I believe I'm the only one that's gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did now when my daughter went, they had her talk to some local doctors in Lancaster that had gone there.
Oh.
Did you have to do that?
No, I had to do an alumni interview, but my interview was in Ridgecrest, so I believe that might have been the closest person.
Yeah.
So, I haven't heard of anyone. I don't know if they're not interviewers for Georgetown, but I'm not sure.
Sure. And tell me about the Ridgecrest interview.
Oh yeah, it actually went really well. It was with Mr. Michael Delaney. And it was really nice. It was more of a conversation. I was very nervous considering it was my first college interview, and it was like my dream school. So it was like the whole drive there.
Right.
It was really nice though. It went really well.
And what does Mr. Delaney do up there in Ridgecrest?
I'm not sure. I believe he is retired now.
Oh, I see.
He used to be in. I was something in the government, but I'm not really sure.
Oh, I see. Sure. And well, how do you think the young people today coming up regard the politics of the country?
I think that a lot of young people think it is like in turmoil, and there's a lot of controversy, and I think that I like personally, like in my experience, I think younger people like in high school are starting to become more politically active and going out to find more information, which I think is really important, because I'm old enough to go out and vote now, and so I think it's really important to be well informed before you do go out and do that. So I think it's really great that a lot of kids are going out to learn more about policies that are like currently being discussed or anything like that. So
sure.
I think it's a step in the right direction.
Sure. And now I've read in the news about a lot of high school students banding together to change laws regarding firearms. And you probably have read that too.
Yes.
And that's the first time I've seen so many high school students unite to try to do something.
Yeah. So like they're all stepping up to, voice their opinions, which I think is really important. I mean, we do have the freedom of speech, so I think it's important that your voice is heard, as long as it's in a peaceful manner. Sure.
Well, that's good. Well, best of luck.
Thank you.
And don't forget Rosamond.
I won't.
Because you'll be in the fast lane now, and Rosamond will be just a little spot out there in the desert.
We'll always be home.
That's right, and that's good. And anything you'd like to send back to the Rosamond News, articles or pictures or anything, we would be very receptive for that.
Okay, I believe I have some pictures from my internship in D.C. So
good.
I will send those over.
Please, yes, because it inspires younger people coming up. They'll think, well, wow, I have a chance, somebody else did it.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. So best of luck, Triveni,
much.
I can't wait to vote for you in a few years.
Thank you.